ends the Cypher. Prepare for another all-nighter.
On the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
You know, the big third game. Bears at the Raiders Friday night, coming out looking great offensively, of all things. Offense was crisp. Your thoughts?
That was the one component I believe that everybody was a little concerned about, because the first two preseason games, obviously, you didn't see the kind of balance you would want to see offensively. Obviously, Brandon Marshall was out that first game, so Cutler had to spread the ball to other receivers. This third game, obviously, now he had two games with Marshall, but the key thing was how the ball was distributed. They spread the field great. I mean, Michael Bush, Forte, the running game was active and good. Brandon Marshall got in there, Alshon Jeffries. I mean, he really focused on spreading the ball. I'm telling you, I'm going to say this, and I say this all the time. This will be Jay Cutler's best year, and it's not because it's just a contract year. He finally has a coaching staff that understands and is going to make him a better quarterback. And you can see that between him and Trustman, how they're interacting during the game on the sideline. While he's in the game, he can finally do audibles. All the right things are happening that's going to make him better. And I think in this third game, you really saw more of that, which was key.
He targeted Alshon Jeffrey 8 times, and he caught 7 of them. Had a big game. So that has to be the most he's been targeted since he's been here. But that was kind of surprising, but I liked it, though. It was
But I think I would assume after the second game in preseason how much Cutler was kind of going to Marshall, because that's kind of his safety net, what makes him feel comfortable. I would believe the conversation is, yes, Brandon Marshall, he is that number one, but there are other options on the field that we need to use to make sure that we're getting more bang for our buck, because if you're only looking at Marshall most of the time, it makes you too predictable. So to see him spread out and get the running game, Michael Bush looks like the running back they went and got last year, which you really didn't see that much of that type of Michael Bush when they went and got him from the Raiders. So the running game looking, I think you saw confidence in Forte, feeling like I'm back in the mix, I'm running strong. So I think you saw a lot of good things offensively. I think what's key about every preseason game is that they've been an efficient team in regards to getting calls in the game and not really having to take timeouts because they're not prepared. You're not seeing penalties for things like that. So for that to be the third game and this to be a new offense, it seems like everything is clicking on all pages.
All right, joining us now to talk about this and add to the conversation is the host of The Bottom Line with Joe Davenport on 1370 AM WLTH, and his name is Joseph Davenport. What's going on tonight, Joe?
How you doing, Faruq? How you doing, Maya?
I'm good. Good to have you on. So your thoughts?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. The thoughts, the game was, we've seen Jay Cutler do this before. He has the capability of looking sharp, finding receivers, following through. What we haven't seen from Jay Cutler is his ability to do this against quality opponents. Third game, new offense. You saw what you needed to see from him. The question marks are still out there. Can he do it consistently, and can he make the right decisions at the right time?
So you're not really convinced, a lot of people seem to be unusually geeked up behind this showing that the Bears had the other night, particularly offensively, so you're still really not buying it.
Well, not so much I'm not buying it. It's just that we have to have realistic expectations coming out of the gate. New offense, Mark Trestman's first year, a lot of things are unproven. What we have to be able to keep in perspective is that Aaron Cromer, Mark Trestman, since the beginning of OTAs and all throughout training camp, they've always said that this is a process. There's a plan. And we're seeing the process. We're seeing the progression as we should. I'm expecting Jay Cutler to be even better, as a matter of fact. The way that Jay Cutler started out OTAs and training camp, he was a little shaky. I remember going on the show and having a segment, Jay is still Jay. He was still making bad decisions, still kind of the poor mechanics. But I think with the stability of the offensive line, and even though they're rookies, they have the want to, and they also have the will, and they also have the skill to get it done, even as rookies. Martellus Bennett has been outspoken about helping these young rookies out. Communication is key, is what he keeps saying, and telling them who they're supposed to be who they have to block, their blocking assignments, and the rest. The thing that I'm really geeked up about this offense is the fact that they're very physical on the offensive line. Being able to get Michael Bush going, the ability to get Matt Forte back into the offense, even in the passing game, has been very, very impressive to me in the early going.
Definitely the offensive line, which has been an Achilles heel for the last several years. Even in these first few preseason games, it looks like you've already seen drastic improvement from what you saw last year. I mean, obviously, some of the free agencies they made moves like you talk about Bennett. Finally, somebody realizing that Jamarcus Webb is probably not the answer and willing to do something about it. That's probably going to be a huge part of the success the offense is going to have, because if they can't hold the line and give Jay the time, it's right back to square one like you've seen in the previous years.
Oh, absolutely. Jamon Bushrod is the anchor on the left side there. And also, you're forgetting, Jonathan Scott's been out the last 2 weeks. Not only will they have depth, but I think with Jonathan Scott coming back on, he's shown some signs last week. He didn't participate in the game in Oakland, but in the pregame, he was out running and doing some drill work. So that was encouraging. And he is a versatile offensive lineman. He's what they call a swing lineman. So they will have some depth and some quality depth at that offensive line.